All righty, so I think I'm going to get started now. It's about 3 minutes after, and people can join us as we're in the middle of our presentations, but I just want to welcome everybody to the Spring Quarter Events and Transportation All-Staff Meeting. This is where you're going to hear the latest and greatest in all of the happenings that we have going on in the organization. We have a lot of amazing presenters coming your way with a lot of information, providing you updates with all the hard work that we've been putting in since our last all-staff meeting. So a lot of great things that you'll be hearing about. One other thing I do want to mention, as you probably noticed when you were coming into this meeting, is we are recording the session. So this gives everybody the opportunity who weren't able to attend the meeting. And then that way they can actually enjoy it by pulling up the intranet. And also Andy from the graphics team will be sending it out in the E&T news bulletin tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. And also, if you enjoyed this meeting so much, feel free to always watch it again. So we are going to be holding questions and answers to the end of the meeting. Now, the question and answer feature is probably most likely, if your Zoom looks like mine, at the bottom of your screen. So you can answer ask your questions using that feature. Now, these are anonymous. So we really do want to hear from you and kind of get a temperature of what our employees are thinking, or maybe if they have suggestions about different opportunities or things that are going on within the organization. So don't be shy. And also, as you're scrolling through, if you do see a question that is something that you're interested in, feel free to upvote that so you can give it a thumbs up. Also, as an FYI, the chat feature while the presentations are going will be is not going to be active. So we will enable that once we are done with the presentations and get to our fun activity, which Diana and Zulema will be hosting at the end. So make sure you stick around for that. It's really good stuff. So I want to just remind everybody that we have a lot of information. So sure, we have our all staff meetings once a quarter where you hear, directly from some of your peers. But also, if you're looking for more information, we have it. It's on our intranet. So you can find anything from departmental profiles, org charts, employee recognition, anything, that we have within the organization, you can find at a couple clicks, and a lot of great training videos also. And we also try to keep our operational updates updated on the intranet as well. So that's something you can utilize at any time. And of course, if you have any questions trying to locate something, feel free to reach out to me. So I would be happy to help. So now, moving forward, I'm going to hand the presentation over to our interim executive director, Lisa Kerbling.
Thanks, Robin. We have a lot on the plate today. We're going to talk about some work we're doing in response to the work environment survey, things you've asked for that we're trying to give you, and then looking forward to what's coming up in the coming next year, and also the lovely commencement talk. But before we get started, this is my very last all-staff meeting as your interim executive director. So I did want to just thank everyone for all their hard work over these past 2 years and all the trust you put in me. I've been really honored to lead this great team, and I just wanted you all to hear that directly from me. And with that, we'll move on to welcoming our new staff members. So first on the docket is Michael Dow, who is our new IT help desk analyst working in finance systems and analytics. Next is Michelle Paralejo, who is the executive assistant in the Events and Transportation Central Administration. Next is Timothy Smith. He's one of our new Bruin Bus transit operators with Fleet and Transit. Robert Uloa is the event manager in Events Office. And last is Catherine Nam, a former UCLA student who's our new commute programs analyst in commuter and parking services. Welcome all of you to the team. And next, I just wanted to take an opportunity to mention our 6 most recent quarterly milestone celebrations. With 10 years of service, we have Marcos Magallanes and John Tom Keys. With 15 years of service, we had Tuan Lang. With 20 years of service, we have Carlos Borja. With 25 years of service, Lily Gaitan. And last but not least, with 30 years of service, Devron Carter. So congratulations, everyone. And thank you again for all your years of service. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Hilda Valdez and Mike Edwards, who are going to talk about the work we've been doing to improve the work environment for our staff.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, everyone. I am Hilda Valdez with Central Administration, and together with Mike Edwards from Commuter and Parking Services, we will be presenting Work Environment Survey, or WES, efforts. We will highlight a few activities from each area that demonstrate improvements made as a result of last year's survey. The major themes these various WES efforts fall under include compensation and equity, work-life balance, engagement and morale, recognition, and communication. So let's get started with department-wide initiatives. So back in January, it was shared during the all-staff meeting that standard operating procedures for equity compensation reviews were finalized for policy-covered employees. Since then, process education meetings have been held with the goal of increasing transparency and knowledge about this process. If you're interested in learning more about equity compensation, be sure to join the next Learn at Lunch on April 26th. To help promote a healthy work-life balance amongst our employees, a communication was sent out about the importance of employees protecting their non-work time for rest and relaxation, as well as best practices during non-work hours and emergencies. Tools were also identified to support communication during core business hours and can be found on our intranet's training library. They include guides and micro-trainings for the delayed delivery feature for email, chat, and do not disturb for cell phones. In the fall, staff were polled about social activity ideas. Out of this came the creation of social activity baskets. These baskets have been delivered to various locations and include games and puzzles that can be enjoyed during work breaks. Department leaders and managers have increased their utilization of employee recognition platforms. Extra Mile, Kudos, Employee of the Month, and Student of the Month all represent avenues in which we acknowledge and celebrate your valuable contributions. Let's move on to Central Administration. Speaking of recognition, Central Administration has brought back in-person years of service milestone celebrations. It's been great to celebrate all your years of service together. In the fall, the Tag Along program was piloted. This program allowed employees to learn more about other units in E&T and how these different units impact and support each other. It provided a greater understanding of how interconnected we all are. Related to increasing engagement, those social activity baskets have been utilized by Central Administration. We often take breaks in the office simultaneously and work on puzzles together. To further staff development and encourage the learning of another language, a language pilot program for career staff is being rolled out. Thank you to those who applied by last week's deadline for a free one-year subscription to Duolingo's ad-free product, Super Duolingo. TOD is now in the process of purchasing licenses and will contact participants when the product is ready for use. All right, moving on to the events office. An investment was made in staff and a new software called Vectorworks was purchased to help in event layouts. Staff now have a tool that allows them to be more efficient with their time spent on event layouts, streamlining this process. Also, 2 in-depth training sessions were held on events management. These trainings represented an opportunity to train the team as a group to ensure all staff members are on the same page about events management. Finance system and analytics. Communication improvements became a focus for this area. Quarterly IT meetings and semi-annual finance team meetings represent a time to share important and critical information with team members. Regular check-ins are done with remote employees to ensure they are doing well and have everything they need in a remote and hybrid work environment. These regular check-ins have supported staff in adjusting to this new work environment. Staff have peace of mind when it comes to taking time off. If someone is going to be out of the office for more than a week, they work with their manager to create a support coverage plan. Other members of the team cover for their projects and assignments so they can enjoy their time off. And lastly, to increase engagement, time is made to celebrate special occasions. Team spirit and morale are boosted as a result of holding parties for the team at the end of the year and for special occasions such as work anniversaries, birthdays, and births. Now Mike Edwards will talk about West's efforts in other areas.
Thank you, Hilda. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start off with Fleet and Transit. A new bus driver referral program was implemented to help with recruitment efforts in an amount of $500 for university employees. University-sponsored training allowed paratransit van drivers to train to become Class B commercial drivers, strengthening the candidate pool and allowing them to be hired as growing bus drivers. This helped reduce the burden on existing transit drivers. A relationship was formed with a new vehicle maintenance part supplier, which helped to reduce delivery time and strengthen the process for technicians to request parts. Installation of a new automatic passenger counter and a complementary ride-ship data management system eliminated the need for manual counting by drivers. Now moving on to medical operations. Communication is a fundamental key to any operations. A few ways we communicate are through daily briefings and our on-screen television. Encouraging communication and collaboration can help employees feel more connected to one another to accomplish the unit's and organizational goals. We wanted to establish a greater sense of shared purpose by asking staff for their opinions and suggestions on process changes that affect the operation and customer service. We appreciate and recognize our employees by thanking them for their hard work, nominating them for extra miles and Employee of the Month awards, and also providing them with donated snacks on occasions. Growth and development opportunities. Employees have the opportunities to grow and develop their skills by signing up for offered programs such as Microsoft Word, Workplace English Language, Supervisor Summits, online LMS development courses, and the Tag-Along program. Moving along to Bruin commuter programs, supporting of independent decision-making. This created an environment of trust, decision-making with the team on all levels. A donated funded snack area was created where coffee and other goodies are provided to the staff without restriction. Consistency with scheduling for hybrid schedules for all staff. Utilize software and hardware technology such as TV screens to create an open and shared environment where all staff can consume and digest information. Moving on to commuter and parking services admin. Held supervisory summits to keep supervisors informed about HR and supervisory topics. Weekly communications via the commuter and parking service operational update blog. Individuals day, including day in the life profile of individuals. Celebratory notifications, work anniversaries and birthday notifications sent to employees via Smartsheet to express joy, excitement, and gratitude. Held learning lunches during the lunch hour and discuss CMPS related topics so that staff can learn about individuals and how other units operate. Student Supervisors Committee was formed to help break down silos within commuter and parking services. Now I'll be passing over the presentation over to our Commuter and Parking Service Director, Ray Manguso. Thank you for all you do.
All right, thank you, Mike and Hilda. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ray Manguso, the Director of Commuter and Parking Services. And today I'm going to talk about some exciting topics for across events and transportation, specifically things to look forward to during the next fiscal year. So we start with some updates from the events office. The Events online application to register for extracurricular activities and to notify campus stakeholders of upcoming events will soon be converted to a new low-code platform called Laserfish. This is a transition away from its current Microsoft platform, which is now outdated and no longer supported by Microsoft. The upgrade development team consists of the Events Office, IT, and Laserfish. It is projected to be done and tested by this summer. Launch date for the new EOL is this coming fall quarter. Also, a limited in-person scheduling program will be implemented coming fall quarter. The Events Office will ease back into an in-person scheduling experience starting with 2 days per week, reminiscent of the pre-pandemic service that Events Office offered. Next, I'd like to talk about some initiatives within Fleet and Transit. First, the goal to right size of the overall fleet will continue, meaning that Fleet and Transit will continue to analyze department usage of vehicles to ensure acceptable utilization persists throughout the fleet and reducing fleet volume where appropriate. This is part of our department's effort to work toward the UC-wide carbon neutrality mandates by reducing greenhouse gas producing internal combustion engine vehicles. This initiative has also the dual benefit of relying less on the UCLA department funds as debt, which is also a campus-wide initiative. A solution that Fleet is offering to departments that give up the use of their vehicles is the expansion of Bruin Car into a true shared use motor pool. This improves the effectiveness of vehicle use for the entire campus, increasing utilization while decreasing the number of individual vehicles. More excitingly, this includes E&T. For example, how many vehicles do we truly need in our department that are only driven a couple of hours per week? Fleet and Transit is also looking to increase transit service for many customers. First, Transit is looking to expand its offerings to the Geffen Academy. The Academy has had an increasing need for service to fulfill various course requirements and extracurricular activities, such as its athletic programs, off-campus physical education, and theater art performances, just to name a few examples. Transit is looking forward to furthering its partnership with Geffen Academy this coming year by fulfilling this increased demand. Another increased service offering will be from Bruin Access, our service providing community members with accessible point-to-point mobility transit. Currently, Bruin Access operates from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, but the community has voiced demand for increased operational times as late as midnight. As a result of the research into this expansion, F&T is looking into the purchase of an additional EV ADA vehicle to meet this increased demand. This expansion will be partially funded by grant funding, which leads me to my next slide. Fleet and Transit has applied for and has been awarded some grant money this current fiscal year for projects like Bruin Access expansion and other transit project funding, and currently has applications in progress for electric vehicle supply equipment expansion funding. With the increasing obligations placed on the department in these categories, coupled with decreasing funding sources, grant research and applications are expected to play a heavier role in funding these necessary projects. Soon, Fleet and Transit will be looking to employ an in-house grant specialist whose duty will be to research potential grants our department may qualify for and to apply to them. Switching gears, I'd like to talk about the new and improved public transit pass portal, which will allow E&T to maintain a more flexible platform while adapting to changes in what's called the macro environment, which is affected by changes in things like the Bruin Grad Pass, the UAW Transit Benefit, the free transit pilot for administration employees, and the possible undergraduate transit pass referendum. The current portal is not robust enough to handle the expected incoming changes, and so a new transit portal will be built in Salesforce, which provides CRM agents with the visibility of transit products currently not possible in today's environment. And speaking of Salesforce, we're exploring the use of Salesforce into other E&T units. As Bruin Commuter Programs has matured with its use of Salesforce, other E&T units are now exploring the possibility of using that system as a ticketing and customer management tool. This may allow for the Events Office, IT, and Fleet and Transit to harness the comprehensive customer activity history and have greater levels of data reporting so that more data-driven decisions can be made by business units. Next, I'd like to talk about T2 Mobile Pay. This is the pay-by-phone solution that T2 Systems provides and is much simpler for our parking visitors who would like to pay by cell. The upside to this product is that customers will no longer need to download an app like Park Mobile and can pay for parking using text messaging with a simplified user interface. The space management team is also exploring the possibility of not confining these customers to just pay station areas and giving access to certain mixed use areas based on time of day. Furthermore, the special events parking team is looking into a solution called Off Street, which may be an implementation not long after mobile pay. That would integrate into the T2 permit system and can offer a mobile coupon code solution for campus departments and their customers, a solution that has been asked about for years by our campus partners. Next, I have some exciting news from the Med Plaza parking operation. The current payment control system that is over 15 years old is finally being replaced with the most modern, up-to-date technology. This will give us increased report from ski data, as well as reduced maintenance costs from an antiquated system. Furthermore, the medical parking operations team is looking forward to removing the T2 digital pay stations from the medical area and operating the entire structure using ski data. In non-parking terms, this essentially means that there will only be one single payment platform. Today's customers are easily confused due to some of the lot being pay on entry with the rest of the lot as pay on exit. This transition will better serve our customers by having a uniform system for the entire lot. Speaking of ski data, the asset management lots which operate off campus around Westwood Village will finally operationalize their ski data system, which will provide true access control for permit holders and payment control and collection for visitors. These areas include Structure 35, which services the Wilshire Center, Structure 37, which services the Gailey Center, Structure 38, which services the Wilshire Glendon building, and Structure 39, which services the Bank of America building at Westwood and LeConte. Finally, I'd like to talk about the EV charging expansion project. Phase 1 is nearing completion, and the parking facility maintenance team is already in discussion for Phase 2. As a reminder, for those who haven't read on the expansion plan, Phase 1 consisted of expanding 110 volt outlet availability in structures 9, 2, 1, 4, and 5, bringing the total count of level 1 chargers to 546 throughout our campus parking areas. Phase 2 of that plan is to work with the Design Project Management Office and the Facilities Management Department to run load studies at each parking structure to determine feasibility of further expansion based on existing electrical capacity, which has recently been determined as being the most limiting factor and greatest challenge in furthering our EV charging expansion across parking facilities. With that, I'm going to pass the torch to Dan Federoff and to Devron Carter, who are going to be talking about commencement.
Thank you, Ray. And good morning, everybody. So Devron and I are going to be presenting on the preparations we're making for this spring's 2023 commencement coming up in June. So as you probably know, the main commencement weekend is Thursday, June 15th through Sunday, June 18th. But you know, what you may not know is the size and scale of commencement weekend on campus. So I thought it'd be a little interesting to provide a more insight to the planning process with a little bit of a UCLA commencement weekend by the numbers. So throughout campus, there's actually 16 different ceremony venues. There are 13 professional or graduate school ceremonies. There are 3 main College of Letters and Science ceremonies, which take place in Poly Pavilion on Friday, June 16th at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. And there's 55 department ceremonies and 10 student group celebrations. All in all, there's over 12,000 students who will receive their degrees during commencement weekend, whether it's professional, graduate, or undergraduate degrees. To continue, we rent out over 15,000 chairs throughout the weekend. We have 19 lecterns that we rent for on the stages. We have 56 microphones that will be set up throughout the weekend. And over 100, I counted 102 trash cans that are rented from UCLA facilities. And too many times that we hear the song Pomp and Circumstance over the weekend. And if you've ever worked a graduation or commencement weekend, you're familiar with the song that goes da 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 da. Still keeps me up some nights. But finally, the look on each graduate's face is priceless. And that's the main reason why we obviously do it throughout campus. So in continuation, commencement really does take a village. The planning is not only done year round, but it's also a massive campus-wide and department-wide collaboration and undertaking. We work with the administrative marketing and communications group for the website updates, branding and creative, signage design and production. Parking services helps with making sure guests and vendors are permitted and space is allocated correctly. Fleet and Transit provides room bus shuttles to get people around campus, as well as the procurement of golf carts for the weekend. And events and transportation finance, HR, and IT support throughout the whole weekend. So thank you all in advance for your help and support for this year's graduation. You know, we're about 2 months away, and it'll be here before we know it. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Devron Carter, who's going to talk about the all hands on deck approach to commencement weekend.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk to you about our new approach as far as the on-hands approach to commencement this year. You know, the all hands approach is not new to us. We have always asked for additional staff from other units or other teams within E&T for during major events. What is new is being a little bit more collaborative in our efforts to make sure that we're doing things as a holistic as one big team. So that being said, we had a group of us who have been meeting for quite a while to streamline the all hands on deck effort and improve the processes behind that to better meet the needs of our operation during large events such as commencement. This includes the volunteer schedule that I will show you or discuss in more detail later, which will be on Smartsheet. We're also doing a unified food and beverage expenses that's a little bit behind the scenes, but previously this was done by 3 different teams submitting their own food and beverage expenses, and we're going to consolidate that into one. Also, there's the information sharing that across the different teams, which includes the events office, commuter and parking services, as well as fleet of transit. In addition, what we have identified is to bring on more admin or administrative support staff to help out during this big event. A lot of times in the field, we were having operational managers and supervisors deliver, snacks and water and those type of things, while meaning that they were being taken away from the operation to go back and get these things to bring back out to their staff. So we're going to have administrative staff to support that and help us with that. So that will be great. Also, we're planning on having a command center in our conference room here in 124C, running on each day of the commencement. This command center will include staff personnel from each of the operation teams that are out in the field. This year we will have we'll have a briefing packet for the volunteers, which I think that is going to be a very exciting thing and help out the volunteers a lot. This will be something that the volunteers can review in advance of their assigned shift. The briefing packet will be available, like I said, prior to that shifts, at least a few weeks out before their shift is here. It will provide vital information to help answer questions from customers and perform duties that day, as well as other pertinent information, for example, nearest restroom or water stations that you can direct guests and visitors to. As I mentioned before, our old way of scheduling and how we communicated and requested additional support needed to improve. What we found previously is that most of our large events that needed additional volunteers, that responsibility was left in the hands of the teams that were on point for the event to solicit the volunteers. At times, this was counterproductive and time consuming. So this year's commencement, the request for additional support will come from E&T as a whole. That includes sign up for all commencement shifts regardless of teams. So that includes the ambassadors under commuter and parking, the events office to help out guests and visitors and graduate students getting to their destination points or their venues. or managing the venues, as well as traffic control for getting vehicles in and out of campus. The schedule link will be available for sign up next week. As you know, this is a big day for graduating class and their families and their friends, as well as for the campus in general and our organization. I look forward to seeing all of you during commencement weekend. And as always, go Bruins. Thank you. And now I will pass this on to Robin Bell.
Hi, everyone, me again. Thanks, Devron and Dan. Yeah, that definitely pumps us up for upcoming activities. So speaking of which, I have some good news. We are hiring. We have quite a few positions that we're currently recruiting for, and one that is coming up soon. So let's start off with our business process analyst position. Now, this position is in the Central Administration Unit and reports to the Executive Officer, Steve Wang. The business process analyst duties include, but are not limited to, managing cross-functional projects, improving and documenting business processes, tracking strategic initiatives progress, and coordinating audits. Now, this particular position is closing this Saturday. So if this is something that piques your interest, or you can think of a friend or family member that might be interested, please share that. Next up, we have our Broom Bus Transit Operator. Now, these are our Broom Bus drivers. And as you can see, there are both full-time and part-time positions posted. Now, for this position, applicants need to have a Class B license with a passenger endorsement and air brake certificate. As Mike Edwards mentioned earlier, there is a referral program for this job. If a successful applicant is referred by a current UCLA employee, that employee can receive a $500 referral bonus. Now, the applicant just needs to be sure to mention who referred them in the employment application when they submit. So next up, we have our paratransit van operator. Now, this is the van driver for our Bruin Access program. Bruin Access provides point-to-point paratransit service on weekdays from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Last but not least, and this is the one that will be posted soon, so you have a sneak peek of what's coming up, is our Principal Events Manager. Now, the Principal Events Manager works with a high degree of independence and is responsible for the coordination of major campus events and film shoots. In addition, they will field new customer event inquiries, vet new event viability with campus schedules and partners, and assign events to event managers as necessary. So as you can see, we have a lot of exciting positions that are available. So if you or anyone you know is interested in these E&T job positions, please visit the UCLA Careers website for more information. So now let's kick it over to employee recognition. So the last time we met, we closed out the 2022 year. So let's recognize our employees that kicked off our Employee of the Month for January. We have Marco Medrano, who works in our with our valet team, and of course Ashley Sacedo, who works in commuter and parking services. Also, for the month of February, we have Christopher Rodriguez, who also works for our valet team. He's one of the night crew. And we also have Tirza Nunez, who works in commuter and parking services administration team. Next up, for the month of March, we have Rick Knowles, that he works in our parking enforcement area. And we also have Monica Sayasako, who works in our events office. So a huge round of applause for them. They really kind of pushed our organization forward with some of their process improvements and excellent customer service skills. So bravo to them. Now let's look at some of our students. We have Catherine Yam. She was one of our student employees over in citation review. And she's just that fabulous that now she is actually one of our contract employees in commuter and parking services. So she was our Student Employee of the Month for January. Now for February, we have Itari Tamayo, and she works in our assets team. And then Alejandra, who also goes by Alex, Oliva, who also works in our assets team. So round of applause for these smiling faces. And honestly, we couldn't do it without our student support. So thank you to all three of you. We are wrapping up our April and kind of collecting those nominations. So more to come there. Keep an eye out on those bulletins. All right, so with summer, of course, commencement kind of kicks off summer for us, but we also have a lot of internal employee celebrations because we like to party, we like to celebrate our achievements. So to kick off the month of June, we have our Employee of the Year celebration. So all of these smiling faces that we've been recognizing at all of our all-staff meetings, we will actually have 2 individuals that will be Employee of the Year, one representing our administrative side of the house, and one the operational side. So very exciting. And again, that celebration will be on June 6th. Now our summer celebration, which we love to have, that's where we have our barbecue and lots of fun activities and get to really kind of sit back and enjoy each other's company. That is going to be on June 21st. So we're kind of doing some scouting around campus to try to determine which site we will be at. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for more information coming your way. Now, the bittersweet event, which closes out the month of June, is our retirement celebration. So again, bittersweet. We say goodbye to peers, coworkers, and most importantly, some of our friends. So this celebration will be in our founders room at James West Alumni Center. And that will be on June 27th. So we will be sending out announcements on that and looking to give our retirees a great celebration to send them off. So that is it for me. What I'm going to do now is kick it over to Zulema Hernandez and Diana Cortez, and they are going to close out our presentations with a fun activity. And stay tight after that, because that's when we'll start reviewing some of our questions and answers. So kick it off, Diana.
Thanks, Robin. Hi, everyone. So in honor of April being Earth Month, we decided to host a short activity related to Earth Day and some tips on how you can contribute all month long and celebrate.
Okay, so we're going to get started by testing some of your Earth knowledge. We're going to ask you guys a few questions. Feel free to submit your answers through the chat. Okay, so first question, April is Earth Month, but when is Earth Day?
All right, I see some answers coming in now. I see a lot of A's, 22s, I'm assuming you're going for A. Every day, yes. D, I see a D, okay. A lot of A's.
All right, so the correct answer is A, April 22nd, and that's this Saturday.
Okay, how many plastic bags can one reusable bag replace? Is it A, 25, B, 267, C, 600, or D, 1,919? All right, I see some D's, B, a lot of B's, a few C's, A. All right, I'll give you guys a couple more seconds. And the correct answer for this is actually C, 600.
All righty, next question. How old is the world's oldest living tree? Is it A, 757, 1,289, C, 4,854, or D, 10,546?
I'm seeing a little bit of everything. I've seen some C's, some B's, a few D's. B, C.
This is actually located in California, so Northern California.
So then Eric.
All right, so the correct answer is C. It's almost 5,000 years old.
All right, next question. How many pounds of waste are produced by one person each day? Is it A, 3 pounds, B, half a pound, C, 5.7 pounds, or D, 4.9 pounds? Too many. All right, let's see. I see some C's, a few D's. I see an A. Whoa. All right, I'll give you guys a couple more seconds. And the correct answer for this question is actually D, 4.9 pounds. So almost 5 pounds per day.
Right, what percentage of Earth is covered in water? Is it A, 50%, B, 71%, C, 89%, or D, 62%?
I see a lot of B's. I see a couple C's in there. 100% lately. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of rain.
All right, so I think most people got this one correct. The answer is B, 71%.
All right, so how old is our Earth? Is it A, 7 million years old, B, 29.5 million, C, 5.5 billion, or D, 4.5 billion years old? Okay, I see A, C, D, D, C, a lot of D's and C's. All right, give you guys a couple more seconds for a few other answers. And then the answer to this is actually D, 4.5 billion years old.
All right, which of the following items are 100% recyclable? A, aluminum, B, plastic, C, glass, or D, paper?
Okay, I am seeing A's, D's, C's, a little bit of everything on this one. B, some C's, glass.
All right, so for this question, there was more than one right answer. So C, glass, and D, paper are 100% recyclable.
And this will be our last question. So what is vampire energy? Is it A, energy we use at night, B, a device that continues to use energy and drains power even when it is off, C, a device that continues to use energy and drain power when it is on, or D, I don't know? So I'm seeing a lot of B's, a few D's. Cool name band, yeah. Vampire energy. All right. So the answer for this is actually B. And for those of you that have never heard the term vampire energy, I apologize for the. All right. So for those of you that have not heard of the term vampire energy, it actually refers to a device that continues to use energy and drain power even when it's turned off. So some examples of this would be, for example, your microwave, cell phone chargers, computer cords, coffee pots, just to name a few. So though these devices may not be in active use, because they're still plugged into the wall, they're still draining power and using energy. All right, so how did Earth Day come about? It was actually an oil spill that happened in 1969 in Santa Barbara, California. Over 3 million gallons of oil were spilled into the Pacific Ocean. This event actually led U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson and others to propose the National Teach-In Day, which was named Earth Day. The first Earth Day was actually celebrated the following year in April 1970, and more than 20 million people participated. By 1990, Earth Day had expanded past the US and become a global event with over 1 billion people celebrating it every single day.
All right, to end our portion, we're gonna give a few tips and advice on small changes in your lifestyle that can make a big impact. So first one is warm wash. So if all US households switched from hot cycle to a warm cold cycle, we could save enough energy comparable to 100,000 barrels of oil each day. Next, if every household in the US replaced one regular light bulb with a compact fluorescent bulb, the pollution reduction would be equivalent to removing 1 million cars from the road. And our office is currently going through light bulb changes, so we are doing our part. Okay, switching to online billing. So about 1 billion trees worth of paper are thrown away every year in the US. This includes utility bills, brochures, catalogs. All of these contribute to paper waste. Replacing single-use plastic bottles with bottles made out of stainless steel, silicone, or bamboo. And lastly, replacing dairy or beef at least once per week can reduce greenhouse gas emissions and many more effects brought on by cattle.
Now, here are a few cool facts if you guys want to take a look. Otherwise, thank you all for participating, and I hope everyone has an opportunity to celebrate Earth Day this Saturday. Now I'll pass it over to Robin Bell. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. That was a really fun activity. I love learning all that sort of stuff. So I hope this session didn't disappoint. As I promised, I feel like we brought some really great presenters and a lot of information to you that you might not have known about. So hopefully you enjoyed the session. It looks like there have been some questions that have come through the Q&A feature. So we're going to start answering some of those. Some might be answered live, some might be in the Q&A itself. So I will hand that off to anybody interested in asking those questions. And again, don't be shy.
So there are a couple of questions we're going to answer live. The first one is there a proposed merit increase for non-policy covered employees? I think this actually meant policy covered employees, because non-policy covered employees are bargaining union represented, and all of their increases are already in their contracts. So there have been non-official rumors of a merit increase, but we haven't gotten anything official yet. I do expect that we'll get an announcement sometime in the next, let's just say 3 weeks. But it is tied to the budget coming from the state of California, and the state of California budget is a little tighter than it was last year. So we'll see how that all plays out. I also have heard, and this is definitely rumor, so forgive me if it turns out to not be true, that it would be another across the board increase for policy covered employees, not a merit pool as it was before COVID. The next question is, why are some E&T employees allowed to report to campus only once a week and others have to report twice a week? Frontline and service units obviously need to report more frequently, but there's no consistency throughout E&T, and that is true. There's not consistency throughout E&T because it is very based on the duties of the person who, of the person's job, and each E&T director and their managers decide who needs to be here based on their job and their customer facing responsibilities. So it is not going to be consistent, and that is a conscious choice. Has the final decision been made for Lot 18? Yes, a final decision has been made for Lot 18. It is going to be demolished. We're still working through when and how, but it is a building site most likely for a scientific research facility. And given the cost to repair it versus the cost to demolish it, plus the repair, even if we repaired it, it would eventually, in the not too distant future, become a building site. And so just it makes economic sense to go ahead and demolish it. As those plans are finalized, we will definitely be sharing them, or whoever replaces me will be sharing them. Will we have a new permanent executive director, and when will they come on board? So we just finished first round interviews for the executive director, and I believe that a decision will be made no later than the end of May. And I believe you will have someone on board, hopefully even before I leave. So the panel is looking good, or the candidate pool is looking really good. So I have a lot of faith that this is going to work out really well. There were 2 questions that were answered remotely or typed. I don't know what the right word is, but you can look at them. But also one was, is fleet and service going to be outsourced? And the answer is no. And no, because it doesn't make operational sense, but also because the current UC contract with AFSCME specifically prohibits outsourcing, but we wouldn't be doing it even if it was allowable. And then the second one was, what about non-represented staff who are in fleet and transit? And the answer is no, it's not our intention to outsource regardless of union representation. The fleet and transit team perform core mission critical functions, and we are very proud of them, and we want to keep them being UCLA employees. To cover increased operational and campus costs and fees, are there going to be increases in permit fees? We do have a proposal for about a 3.2% permit fee going before the chancellor and the executive vice chancellor / provost. We are starting our consultation process on Monday with TSAB. We believe that we will have a final proposal done no later than the end of April, and maybe sooner. But at this point, it is a 3.2% increase in permit fees, with the daily visitor fee staying the same. When will the new campus come online, and will we need to support it? I believe that this is probably referring to the Marymount campus in Palos Verdes. The current plans are to have it come online for fall quarter. Plans are not finalized. At this moment, our support is going to be more coordinative than actually physically being there, but more to come. It's very unclear what the future holds there. That is all for questions that I see so far. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so in case anybody has additional questions. Or if I didn't answer the question you thought you were asking, go ahead and type a clarifying question. Okay, once again, thank you all for all your hard work this past year, or in my case, 2 years. I really appreciate it. The work environment survey will be coming out. Please respond. As you can see, we do take your feedback seriously, and we want to make sure that we're giving you what you need. And if you don't participate in the survey, it's hard for us to determine where we're missing the mark. And I think that's it. I don't see any more questions. So I guess we're done. Thanks again.